Now there's many ways of painting mountains or hills, anything like that. Today I'm going to show you my quick method. This is a very easy method of painting hills. Let's get started and let's get them brushes wet. So what you need is some masking tape, anything like that. This is decorator's tape. But what you do need to do is take some of that tack off that tape first of all. Let's use some whiter one there. Look. So what I do, I take a little bit of this, as much as I need that is, across my jeans, trousers, anything like that. Kind of de-tack it a little bit before I put it onto the paper. At least that way there's less chance it's going to tear the paper when you take it off as well. Now the first thing I want to do is get a wash of colour on the paper, then give it really good dry so it's bone dry before we go in with any masking tape. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some colours within our mixing bowl there. I'm going to start off with a little bit of Payne's Grey. Right, it's not too much, I want this fairly watery as well. So a few drops of water in there, using my pipette. Something like that will do. A little bit of, let's go for indigo. Yeah, that's right. Nice colour that. A little bit of indigo. Again, not too much. We'll need a fairly pale sky, to be honest with you. And I'm going to put a little bit of French ultramarine in with that indigo, just to brighten it slightly. I'm going to use a 1/2 inch mop brush and just wet the entire sheet. You want to wet it 2 or 3 times, allowing it to dry just a half a minute in between each layer of water. Okay, here we go. Let's get some colour on the paper. I'll start off with the brightest blue at the top. Okay, just going to go right to the top there. Look how bright that is. Lovely, lovely. I love a bright colour, I really do. It's not mega bright, is it? But it's bright enough. Leaving gaps in between. Remember, this is a sky at the end of the day. But at the Payne's Grey, I'll put that towards the top. Just so we've got more of a varied colour coming down the paper. Okay, back to the blue. How blue can you go? Nobody knows. And I'm going to bring that all the way down, probably to about halfway. I'm just picking up the water on the paper as I come down here. Look. So it's going to have a gradual blend as it works its way down. Now when you get down this low, how low can you go? I'd suggest that you don't go back to the top, because if you do, you start pulling that colour down again. Which you don't really want to do, really, do you? Not really. And just blend this out to the white of the paper at the bottom. Something like that should do. Now you can let this dry naturally, or you can give it a quick blast from a distance, with a hairdryer. So you could do it that way around as well. One last little tip if you want to, get your old scruffy kitchen roll, one I've used as you've seen a few times now. You can very lightly, lift off a few little kind of cloud shapes within this background as well. Just a few here and there, like that. Keep changing the position of your kitchen roll. Or just putting the paint back on the paper again, aren't you? Very lightly, whilst it's still wet though. When it starts to dry, it can leave hard edges on there, which you don't really want. Just a suggestion of kind of very faint clouds in the distance. Anything like that will do. Something like that. There you go. Now I'm going to leave it to dry. Now I've got 4 different mixes mixed up. Just make sure that the hills are going to be further away. Going to be more of a blue, because blue is more of a receding colour. And also make sure it's very watery as well. So let's make a start. You ready for this? Yay! Here we go. Masking tape, which is all curled up. Make sure it's long enough to go across the paper like that. Okay, whatever angle you want. I'm going to start to tear this paper up as well. You ready for this? Right, here we go. Oh, I can't tear paper. What am I like? Tear this at various angles, so you got a lot of peaks and troughs within the tear. Alright, that's what I'm doing here now. We're going downhill. Very sticky. Uphill, back downhill again, another peak and trough down there. All the way down to the bottom probably in this case. Oh, that's it. And then I'm going to tear it right back up again on that side. Make sure this edge is nice and jagged. Now also, as I say, this has got to be bone dry as well before you do this. Then down the other side like that. Okay, get rid of the surplus, and then you end up with something like this, which is really, really sticky, and you can't get it off your fingers. Now, pick out an area that you want to use within your tear. So I'm going to start probably, I don't know. I'm going to start probably about there. I quite like that actually. Bit of an angle, can have it level, can have it that way. I'm going to have it sort of like that. And then stick that to the paper. This is why we need to make sure that most of the stick has gone off the tape before you put it on. Okay, so here we go. Size 8 brush. I've wetted that a little bit first. We'll start off with the weakest colour. I'm going to add that on the paper first of all. Here we go. So the weakest colour, not wetting the paper first. Okay, just make sure you apply plenty to the paper. Now some of this will drift underneath the masking tape, but if it does, it doesn't matter. You could just add to the painting, it really will. Okay, like that. And that's one mountain scene already done. Oh, that was too easy, too easy. A clean damp brush, a little bit of water down here, and then bring that water, a bit more, bring that water up to the blue, like so. So it just fades out like a little misty feel to it. Something like that. There we go. And that is one mountain done. So now I need to give this a quick blast with a hairdryer. Then we'll do the next one, but using a different colour. Now whilst the paper's still warm, remove that masking tape and remove it very carefully and very gently. Just very lightly like this. And look at that. Oh, we have ourselves a distant mountain range already. That was quick, wasn't it? So let's do another one, shall we? I've just torn this one up ready. Okay, so what do you think? Probably about there. We want it to overlap this one slightly, but I still want this sort of hazy feel to it as well. Yeah, maybe about that. That's it. Something like that will do. And then all the way to there. Make sure the tape is nicely stuck when you put it down. Now this time I'm going to use a slightly darker colour. Okay, ready? Let's do it. Okay, so again, make sure you've got plenty on the paper. That way you're going to keep a wet edge at the same time, aren't you? Working your way across like so. Something like that. Okay, bring it down just a fraction. Wash that brush out, nice and clean, clean water. Start from a little bit lower down like that. A little bit more water. Then catch it as you get towards the top there, and then bring it into that lighter area now. So you've got a gradual fade on the paper. Something like that. Okay, yeah, that's not too bad, that'll do. Grab some waste kitchen roll, dry your brush. I'm going to very lightly just lift off a little bit of paint here and there as well, just to start to create some texture within those mountains. Or hills, whatever you want to call it. Something like that there. Look. Now the wetter it is, the more faint it will dry, and you can sort of blend together. If you let it dry just a little bit, you'll find that the marks you make are more distinct. They'll stand out more. They'll have sharper edges to them as well. But for me, that's I think all I need really on there. You don't want to take all the paint off after all. Okay, let's give it another dry. Now for my third one, I'll probably place probably about there. Something like, yeah, probably about that I think. So we can just go over the other two maybe a little bit. Yeah, I think so. Maybe like that. Yeah, that'll do. Just trying to work out where you think it's going to look the best really. Pop it on the paper. Again, it's got to be bone dry before you do this. And this is starting to lift a little bit in places. That's because this paper's not stretched. Now I'm going to use these two different colours here. So we've got the browny colour there with a little bit of Payne's grey in there. And we've got this lovely sort of Payne's grey, burnt umber sort of colour we've got as well. So a variety of colours. And remember what I said, so you can use whatever colours that you want to use. So let's make a start. Here we go. So back to my size 8. I'm going to start off with this one here. Start to pop in that colour. Look at this. Oh, yeah. Get so excited when I see something like this. Probably down to there. Make sure it's nice and wet. Again, it's going to keep a wet edge longer, isn't it? Probably to about there. Yeah, that'll do. I'm going to drop some brown in there as well, just to warm it in places now. Just to warm it. Because the simple fact is, it's closer. And because it's closer, we'll see warmer colours within there. So grabbing some brown, something like that, and then bringing it down. And again, I need to fade this out as well. And also, like I did in the second layer, lift off a little bit of detail in places. Remember, if you maintain a wet edge down here, then you'll be able to blend it easier as well. Something like that. Clean wet brush and then start to apply the water. Probably down to here will do. Yeah, that'll sort it. Then just catching the edge of this again. It's not what I was just showing you before. As it works its way down and gradually fades as it comes down the paper. And then a dry brush, or dryish anyway, dry as we're going to get. Start to lift some details off with this now. Okay, so I'm going to bring off a little bit of detail, giving a bit of a wiggle at the same time, just down to here. Just gives a different sort of plane to it as well. It's not a plain pool, it's a mountain. I know. And then this side as well, creating texture all the time. That's all I'm doing. Using a shaky hand. It's not naturally shaky, honest. Not really. Then down the side there. And just little details here and there, just so it doesn't look too flat. Keep washing that brush out as well. It's that way around, you're going to be transferring the paint back onto the paper. You're trying to take it off after all, aren't you? Of course you are. So I'm going to give this a quick dry, then I'll give you some ideas of what else you can do to make it look a little bit better. Let's do a little bit of lifting off. I've got my homemade one here, and this is what I made from an old brush which was destined for the bin. You can see I've flattened this and made it into like a chisel shape as well. And this is a stiff bristle brush, so it's ideal for lifting off with. If you're interested in having a look at one of these, I've got a little video on how I made this and other brushes as well. Have a look to the top right, okay? In fact, I'll tell you what, do that later once this video is finished. Okay, here we go. Kitchen roll, preferably clean. Yeah, I've just been using that one. What you can do is start to lift off a little bit of paint in places, just to lighten parts of the hills or the mountains, like that. So just taking that small amount off there, look. And all I'm doing is scrubbing with this brush, as you can just about hear on there. As I say, it's actually quite a stiff bristle brush, so because of that, I can get some lovely lifting off effects. I'm just trying to be careful not to take too much off. Think about the contours within a hill when you're doing this. Think about the shapes. So even though I've got a lighter area here, what I'm going to do is take a little bit of paint off there, like so. Then bring that down. I'm trying to think about the lighter section coming down. I've got to lighten the area just beyond that. So it's not just a line. Just to soften it down like that, look. And you can just lift off again, just to lighten it a fraction more. Just do a few more now. Thinking about those contours and the shapes within a hill. A few more details using my size 2 brush. This is a Tintoretto. There you go. It's a travel brush actually. So you can just take it out like that, pop it back in, and you end up with a very tiny brush to carry around. You really do. Then you get paint on your hands. Yeah, there you are. But you can use that just kind of fine tune, add some extra details into the hills as well. Play with the idea, see what you can do with it. Ah, there you go. Well, stop, Paul, stop. No, I won't. Yeah, well, that'll do. Okay. Now then, what do we do with all the space down below? Okay, let's get our size 8 brush again. I'm going to wet from the bottom, working my way back up again. Okay, let's get a little bit of colour. I'm going to go for a little bit of olive green. Okay, I'm going to start down here. Just a little bit of colour. You know, if you wanted to, put a seascape in there, like a lake or something like that would be fine. Which would be quite nice to do. So something like this, which is another tutorial I've been working on, okay. Imagine having that just down the bottom below the mountains. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So you can do that as well. I'll put a little link to the top right hand corner for you so you can see it, okay. Let's drop a little bit of our brown colour in there. Just to play with the colours on the paper. And you can bring this all the way to the top now. Not all the way to the sky, of course. No. Just down to here. Even a little bit of our dark colour in there as well, maybe. Just to darken it in places. To vary those colours on the paper. And then all you need to do, once this is dry, if you want it nice and flat like a meadow, then you can start working on grass and put some grass in there. This could be a shadow from a tree, something like that. And then give it a dry. I'm going to soften down the bottom of the mountains and give it a quick dry again. Yeah, that'll do. Some more of a hazy feel to it. And on the dry paper, what you can do, keep your brush fairly flat, so it's quite level or nearly level. So not vertical like that. So you want it sort of that angle like that. And you're going to graze the paper with this colour, just to kind of catch the texture of that watercolour surface. And this just creates a little bit of texture, more in the foreground, which again, if you add grass over the top of this, it adds something in the background, doesn't it? Now switching to my size 2 brush, I'm going to put in something around here, just a bit of a horizon there. Then I'm just going to put this in gradually across the paper, make it nice and fine. They can fine tune and balance it as you go along. Once you've got your line across, all you need to do then, just a mixture of trees and bushes, anything around that horizon line. Just kind of break up the eye a little bit and break up that horizon really. So these could replicate trees or anything like that within the background here. Anything, just kind of use your imagination as you're working through it. Okay, a little bit of olive green, pop that into the brown. Something like that. I keep changing those colours, don't I? I know I do. And what I'm going to do as well, just add a little bit of our olive green into our dark colour there as well. Okay, a bit of Payne's grey, a little bit more in there. I want this more of a dark green. Okay, I'm going to use my old replicator brush, but it's something I use for a lot of my paintings, especially for wildlife, for feathers, fur, that sort of thing. But you can also use it for grass. Oh, and by the way, if you're interested in having a look at how to make one of these, then I'll show you how to do that. Look at the link in the top right there. So, here we go. I'm going to tap this in to our kind of duller green there, like an olive green colour. And make sure most of the paint's off the brush. And I can start to lift up a few little suggestions of grass blades. And look at this as a really quick way of creating grass. I know, look at that. Really quick. There are designated brushes for this. You can use, to switch on the brush there, you can use what's called a rake brush. So you can buy them from stockists as well. But look how many lines I can create with this look. And as you go further away, then you just lessen that detail. But I'm not going to go up there just yet. I'm going to wait until, I'm going to probably do this about halfway along actually. I'm going to wait until my brush is just about run out of paint. And okay, there's not much left on the brush, so now I can start to go slightly higher up. Just by putting a few little suggested marks here and there. If you've got too much on the brush, it takes an awful lot like that. My really well and truly used kitchen roll there. And just put some suggestions of marks into the distance here. Look. Because remember, the grass is going to look smaller the further away it goes. Then use that darker green just in places again to vary the way that it looks. Remember, the more in the foreground or the closer it is to you, the bigger the grass blades will appear. I've got plenty more beginner's watercolour techniques for you to learn as well. Have a look at the link to the top right and I'll see you there.